feel that your husband nominated you in the nomination, what he put in the nomination? How did that make you feel?
He is, he's amazing. That was beautiful. And I feel really special. He made me feel really special.
But how does it make you feel when you do get the opportunity to do your hair and put a little bit of makeup on when you in between all the chaos with the kids?
Oh, sure. Like a new woman, like a new person, and it gives me confidence.
Do you mind telling us again a little bit about some of the things in short, what have been going on with the kids and why you've been so busy?
Sure. Well, our daughter was our youngest of three, 2 girls and 1 boy in the middle, and our youngest daughter was born October 2017, and when she was 8 weeks old, she was diagnosed with horrible eczema, and then shortly after that, food allergies arose. So we had all kinds of decisions to make on how to treat her with steroid creams and lots of other creams and oils, and we tried a million different things and kept going back to the doctor and looking for answers, because as a little tiny baby she would itch from head to toe, and it's hard for me to even talk about it because it was heartbreaking as a mom to watch your baby suffer like that. So we went through all of that, found some things finally that worked. Also figured out that our household water had a lot of chlorine in it, just regular city water. So my amazing husband installed a filter on our house, and that helped her. And so we, about, I guess it was May or June 2018, things kind of settled down with her on that, and we had a breathing point where it's like, okay, got through that, and then a little bit of, God gave us a little rest time, and August the 8th, I believe it was, my son was admitted to the emergency room at Fauquier, our then 2.5-year-old son, with what we thought was pneumonia. He didn't seem to be responding to normal course of treatment at the pediatrician's office, so we brought him to Fauquier with almost 106 degree fever. And then, so they ran some tests and realized he needed to be seen at Children's National. So we took him, or he was taken by ambulance to Children's National and admitted there. And for 2.5 weeks, many doctors saw him, tried numerous different antibiotics to hopefully see some response, and the pneumonia diminished, and nothing worked. So after 2.5 weeks, the doctors ran additional tests and gave us a diagnosis of something called chronic granulomatous disease, or CGD. It's an extremely rare immune condition that shows up in mostly boys. Sometimes it can show up in girls, but it's mostly boys, and very rare. And it means that his body cannot fight off certain infections in the environment. And doctors have identified 5 different bacteria, if you will, that he can't come in contact with, or he can get pneumonias that could be life-threatening. So praise God, they figured this out before it was too late, because probably 40, 50 years ago, little boys weren't so lucky, and this disease was formerly called early childhood disease because little guys didn't make it past early childhood. So the doctors gave us that diagnosis and ran some more tests on him and told us they had antibiotics that should target the very specific bacteria, and that he'd be on them for at least 6 months, but the curative time frame could be up to a year or longer for him to overcome just pneumonia, something that most of us can get over in a much shorter time frame. But then doctors said the silver lining in all of this is that there's a cure for CGD, and that is a successful bone marrow transplant. So they told us that if Ethan could have a match, whether in one of his 2 sisters or a match from the National Donor Registry, that he could undergo a bone marrow transplant, and assuming that it will give him a brand new immune system, and it will effectively cure him of CGD, so that he doesn't have to be on the medicines lifelong. He won't suffer the associated health conditions, and he won't have the risk of infection. With CGD, they've identified the bacteria that he can't come in contact with in things like dirt, and untreated water. So he's not a kid right now that can dig in the dirt, roll in the leaves, play in puddles. He can't go on hay rides. Places like barns and sheds are off limits for our son. But assuming transplant is successful, he will overcome this. So we are now awaiting, after finding out that neither of his sisters was a match for him, we're awaiting any date now, news of whether he has a perfect 10 out of 10 match from the National Bone Marrow Registry. We know that he has 2 9 out of 10 matches, but doctors said they would prefer a 10, and if for some reason we don't have a 10, they're probably going to use my husband as what they call a half match, and they expect it, God willing, to be successful, but it's not going to be without a lot of challenges and a lot of prayers to get us through.
And you guys are getting ready to go on a trip this coming week before
Yes.
all of this starts to take place, right?
We are heading to the beach for Memorial Day and to our favorite beach in Emerald Isle. And we actually thought we were not going to get down there because we've been waiting in limbo from doctor's appointment to doctor's appointment. And the doctors are waiting to see his lung, the pneumonia, a little bit more under control and diminished before they put him into transplant. You don't want to put a person into transplant and destroy their old immune system until you have everything under control that's in there. So things are looking up. He's on a lot of medicine. He's unfortunately on some steroid right now that's reducing the inflammation. And the doctors are hopeful that June or July we should have him into transplant. So we're going to go on a little family trip this weekend and hopefully enjoy a really peaceful, really wonderful time before the big storm and mountain ahead of us.
Yeah.